Welcome back, everyone, to the Complete Pineleaf. I am here with Gimli, who is curious about some dwarves that may be living here in Moria. Aye, this is a tricky land. I don't know what beasts could live in such a place, but dwarves are our hardy folk. These dwarves of Mordor must dwell somewhere within the Doomfold, but perhaps they don't wish to be found. If they make use of dwarf doors, as the House of Durin once did in Khazad-dûm, even the most thorough search would never bear fruit. Let us hope that it doesn't come to that. You found that dwarf near the causeway that leads to the Dark Tower, didn't you? If you ask me, no dwarf would be wise to travel these lands alone. And even if one did, they would soon be sought out if they did not return. Patrol the causeway to the east and see if you can find others of his kin. And ones with better luck, I would hope. Alright, so see if I could find a dwarf that didn't get knocked on the head with a piece of volcanic rock. Here we are, back at the intersection. Now, let's head down this road, probably further along this time. Maybe. Who knows whether we'll find the dwarves first, or whether we'll find that scholar who is trying to investigate some sort of tower. I think that building up ahead is where that scholar was. I haven't seen a sign of those dwarves yet, though. What's this place? Then again, maybe there are some dwarves here. Hello? Here's some water. You found a company of exhausted dwarves gathering in a muddied cistern. Alright. Well then. Here, I would like some water. I hope they don't mind clean water, because I don't exactly have the exact type of water that they have here. Not too sure I could drink the... Well, I guess Frodo must have. Hello? What is it? Why are you... Uh, what do you want? Why have you come here? Whatever your purpose is here, we want no part of it. Do you mean us any harm? Sauron told us that the folk of the West were not to be trusted, especially those from the kingdoms of men and elves. Well, I'm actually a hobbit, so I'm not technically from a kingdom of men or elves. Well then, let us speak, and I shall decide if we have been misled. Alright, fine. So what is your story?
Long have we toiled, and for what?
It has been long since my folk last spoke to outsiders, especially those with the might to bring him low. For what purpose have you come to these lands? To liberate its peoples? Conquest? I suppose it doesn't matter now. You're here, and so that is that. The deathless may not see it so, but their quarrels are their own. I must ask, in your vast armies, were there any dwarves? Well, there was Gimli, at least. Yes, we have seen naught of our kin and cousins in these lands beyond Mordor since the early days of our folk in the mountains of the east, and I would be gladdened to hear that we are not the last dwarves of this realm. Yes. Alright, you said Gimli, so one of my kin has come to these lands. If he so wishes, I would much desire to meet him. Tell us Gimli of the stout axes of Mordor. If he wishes to meet with me, I would have us forge a new peace free of Sauron's influence. Go, I shall wait here for a time, and if you do not return, I shall honor his choice. Very well. I guess back to Gimli. I suppose I should do this quickly and not look around for scholars. Hello, Gimli. I found a small group of dwarves. They call themselves the Stout Axes. Oh, tell me of them, Pineleaf. Stout Axe Dwarves. I've never heard of a house by that name in all my years. Perhaps it was a name given to them by the Dark Lord, or their line was broken. Still, they did you no harm, so I shall hear this Sparcourt's words. Yes? Oh, you think they're up to something, Legolas, do you? Well, for all you know of them, they might well be. Why don't you come along, Legolas? Yes, let us go to Blosrunk Pineleaf. Lead the way. All right. Apparently, we're going to have this conversation on the other side of the cistern, though I suspect they did not intend to leave the other version of Sparkoth over there while I'm speaking to this version, but okay, we'll go with it. Hello, Gimli? Aye, he's a dwarf, all right. Not that I doubted you, Pineleaf, but I'm just as surprised as you to find dwarves here in Mordor. The Stout Axes. I must admit I have many questions I wish to ask about the early years of their folk and how they came to dwell here. There's so much to be learned from them. Even if they toiled under the Dark Lord, I'd wager they still a better lot than the Dour Hands. See, Legolas? It's not like he got evil eyes painted all over him. I think it's time we properly introduce ourselves, wouldn't you say? Alright, I suppose we could do that. Hail! I am Gimli, son of Glowing of Durin's folk. Hail to you, Gimli, Durin's folk. I am of Sparkoth of the Stout Axes. I am one of many servants to the mistress of Lugach, and I come bearing offers of peace between our houses. Do you speak for the mistress of Lugach, or for the Stout Axes? I speak only for my kin, and they desire to be free of the mistress's rule. We wish only to rule ourselves once more. Will you aid us? You served Sauron, did you not? How can we trust your words? Nonsense! They're not like the Dour Hands, Legolas! By Durin's beard, I swear your folk shall be free once more. All right. Gimli seems a fine dwarf, and I'm glad to have met him. He has many questions, and I am pleased to say that I can provide him many of the answers that he seeks. If there is time enough, I shall have questions of my own. We Stout Axes hold little sway in Mordor, but we dwell in peace with the Flaming Spire under the rule of Mistress Zoreth. We are no dwarf kingdom of old, but we are not so few as to be forgotten in this land, for even Sauron could not forget us. If you or Gimli wish it, you're welcome to visit our home in Lugach, provided the mistress does not find out, of course. But if she didn't know you were there... Yeah?
How have we fallen so far?
Once the Stout Axes were a great kingdom of dwarves, but over many long years our fate diminished, and we became slaves and servants to the powers of Mordor. Early in this age, Sauron reclaimed the ring given to our folk when still we dwelt in the east. He sought for it in some use of the men of the far-off lands, and he would not hear the protests of our king of old. Even deprived of its power, and of the symbol of our house, Sauron considered us his allies, and he welcomed us in Mordor. Ah! Had it been but that. When he came to us next, the Stout Axes were unmade. 78 years ago, Sauron returned to Mordor in a rage, and all the favor we had earned was cast aside. He destroyed our kingdom and took our king to the dungeons of the Dark Tower. We had a home no longer, and so we lived only at the mercy of the men of Mordor. Now, Sauron is gone, but still we serve, lowly as we are now in the eyes of all in Mordor. None but the mistress of Lugosh, Zorith, would have us, and now we serve her. She desires the weapon and trinkets of the Dark Lord above all else, but what portion of his might remains in them I cannot say. We have sought them since his fall, and every search has come to naught. Days we have searched now, and with little food or rest. It is time for my kin to return to Lugash, even if Mistress Zoreth does not wish it. There are 4 other expeditions about in this land, Pineleaf. Find them, and send them home to Lugash. If you wish to meet my folk, you shall meet us all. Very well. I shall help to recall those members of the expedition, but it looks like he has other things he needs me to do. Well, I guess I'll remove that for now.
Our fortunes are lost, and our people broken.
Lugash rises to the east, nestled within a rocky hill atop the deep valley. Alas, for stout axes are not the only ones in service of the mistress of Lugash. You see, Mistress Zorak has grown emboldened since the fall of the Dark Lord, and she has drawn many vile spirits into the watching stones of the land. Through their eyes, both servants and foes are revealed, and their designs exposed. She is distrustful, even of her own kin, and so she instead wields her spirits as serpents and spies. In this way, she seeks to find the resting place of the Dark Lord's most powerful trinkets. We stout axes think it a foolish search, and we would have no part of it. We're the choice ours. If you wish to come to Lugash, you must challenge her watching stones and banish the spirits from them. If you do not, she shall soon know of you and Gimli. When it is done and her spirits have been cast back to the shadows, I shall meet you in the lower gates of Lugash. Alright, fine. I shall challenge some spirits and recall some expeditions. This appears to be the first of the stones. Yeah, lots of shadow here. Of course, it'd be some of the darkest areas. Where else would these spirits be? Yep, these are the stones in question. We can deal with spirits. We've dealt with spirits before. Yep. Typical. I thought the other one looked nasty. This looks like a dragon. Eugh. A dreadful place, that's for sure. Full of shadow. Hope a dragon doesn't come out and fight me. Just another spirit. We've dealt with the other spirit, we gotta deal with this one, right? Too easy. This must have been the model for the statue over there. Well then, if we're gonna take care of the spirit, we might as well take care of the model too, right? And again, maybe that wasn't a good idea. Hey, Draco! What big teeth you... Oh, what hot fire you've got. This looks like where I should be looking. Actually, aren't those a couple of dwarves right up ahead? Yes, there are. And let's deal with this worm before we speak with the dwarves. Now, whether they're happy that I killed this worm or saying, hey, that's our sentry, kill her! We'll find that out in a moment. Alright, you can go down, and then I can speak with the dwarves. Alright, let's see if they're upset about me killing that worm. Hello! You're being recalled. We haven't found anything anyway. Well, they seem to be happy to return to base, that's for sure. Going right straight to Lukash. Which reminds me, isn't Covadil that way somewhere? It looks like now that we're getting closer to Lukash, these stones are more and more frequent. I think they're going to need a new logo at some point, considering that the Great Eye has fallen. But I suppose someone will eventually claim domain over this place, and that someone will come up with their own logo, right? When we see a new banner, it means we know which of the enemies who are infighting around here has won. Hey, anyone home? Knock knock. I feel ignored. We're much closer to Lukash, and here's another expedition of dwarves. Hello there, you're being recalled. Time to return to base. At last, Mistress Zoreth is giving us a break. Well, technically, it's not Zoreth who's giving you the break, but okay, we'll go with that. These dwarves are certainly in the most inhospitable spots. Though, then again, this is Mordor. Every place is inhospitable. Do you agree with me or disagree? Anyway, it's time for you to return to camp. Aye then, back to Lukash. Apparently he needed some water too. That means one more set of dwarves to recall and one more stone to challenge. Ah, this must be the last of the watching stones. Well, let's see if there's a spirit home or if this one runs away again. Although it is unclear if the spirit dwells within it, the statue of this one seems to defy my efforts. Well, so much for that. Oh, sorry about that. I think this is the final expedition right over here. No, actually, this is Sparkle. Some of the spirits fled into Lurash, you say? That's not good. Not good at all. It is certain that Mistress Zoreth shall wish to speak with me about her spirits, so it shall be my task to convince her that no threat comes to the Flaming Spire. I doubt she shall protest when I tell her that we drove you and your allies from Mordor. Well, okay. A spear. Alright, I suppose so. Not that it's as good as the one that I currently have. Well then, that wasn't the last of the expedition. Apparently there's supposed to be here across the road. I see an orc. Hello. Hey, I was wondering if you could tell me where I could find a certain nasty monster that's near. We're not close enough to Barad-dûr, you say? No? Okay. You're just a scaredy one. Scattered equipment lines the edge of this chasm. These stout axes met an unfortunate fate. Okay. I managed to recall 3 of the expeditions, but the 4th one seems to have met an untimely death. I'm saddened to learn that some of my folk fell into the fires of the mountain. It seems even keeping a careful pace is no longer enough. These tremors have grown more powerful since Sauron's fall, and new cracks from in the earth with each passing day. It's a challenge to keep a steady footing when you cannot trust the ground and that it shall remain beneath you. We shall have to be more careful the next time the mistress sends us out in search of whatever she's meant to find. For those who have returned, they shall enjoy a long awaited rest. You have done my folk a great service, Pineleaf. Well, that's good to hear. Now, I suppose we're going to find out what he needs us to do now. Let's hope it's not too onerous.
Sauron took everything from us, and then he took more.
We stand before the main gate of Lugash, but you must not enter by that way. The mistress has watching stones guarding the inside of the gate, and if you're detected, she shall bring her wrath down upon us all. Many years ago, she allowed us to construct a second, hidden gate leading from our barracks out to the parapet far above us. We grew weary of her spirits lingering near us and begged her to keep the watching stones away from our barracks. We did not expect mercy, but she relented and set them only as guards within the main gate. You do understand. You must enter through the hidden gate if you are to remain beneath the mistress's notice. It is not hidden in the ways of dwarves, Pineleaf, but is hidden from the spire's face. Behind the spire you will find a dirt pathway leading onto the Lugash itself. You must follow our lamps of crystal to a small shadowed alcove. It is there you shall find the hidden gate. Go now. I must still speak with the mistress to calm her fears about the spirits that you drove back from the spire. But once that is done, you shall find me in the barracks on the central level of the spire. All right. And while you are on that errand, perhaps I shall find Coverdale, whom I shall speak with in the next episode of Complete Pineleaf.